What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking on Corvus, which is one of the major bosses you'll face in Beast of Reincarnation. Corvus is a Corvid Malefact, so by this point in the game you probably already fought plenty of smaller versions of this enemy. But don't let that familiarity fool you. The boss version has some dangerous acid attacks, corrosive puddles that can quickly punish you, and a second encounter that adds another phase and a few extra mechanics. The good news is that Corvus has a very exploitable weakness, and that is shock damage. In this guide, I will go over everything you need to know to prepare for both Corvus encounters, explain the complete moveset, show you how to counter each attack, and cover the best strategy for making these fights as easy as possible. There are spoilers for chapter 7 ahead, so keep that in mind before continuing. And if this guide helps you defeat this boss, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Beast of Reincarnation guides. Let's get started. Unlike some of the earlier bosses in the game, you're actually going to fight two different Corvus bosses during your journey through the giant tree zone. The first encounter takes place on line 0, and this is essentially your introduction to the full Corvus moveset. The fight only has one phase, and Corvus has a relatively small selection of attacks. The second encounter happens later on line 1, and this Corvus functions almost identically to the first, but it is significantly more challenging. It has 3 levels, an additional attack mechanic, and a second health bar that effectively serves as its second phase. So think of the first encounter as practice. Before starting either fight, let's go over the most important preparation. Corvus primarily uses acid element attacks, so acid resistance is extremely useful. If you have the amber breastplate, this is a great piece of equipment to bring along because of its acid resistance. Any equipment or effects that help you cleanse status effects can also be useful, but your most important offensive preparation is exploiting Corvus's weakness. Corvus is weak to shock damage, and because of that, I strongly recommend upgrading and using the Fall Thunder Sword. For Ku, definitely equip Sakura Javelin Blumart, and you should also equip Lightning Arrows for Emma and Bolt Shards if you have them unlocked. The idea here is simple: stack as much shock damage as you reasonably can. Now, one more thing before we get into the actual attacks, pay attention to the environment. Both Corvus arenas contain grapple points, and you're going to want to use them. Corvus's biggest advantage is its ability to cover large portions of the arena with corrosive liquid. If you simply stay on the ground and try to dodge everything, you can quickly find yourself surrounded by puddles. Once those puddles start limiting your movement, the fight becomes more dangerous. Instead, use the grapple points to quickly reposition yourself and escape areas covered in corrosive liquid. Think of the grapple points as your emergency escape route. Don't be afraid to use them. Now let's go through every major Corvus attack and how you should respond. The first attack to watch for is Corrosive Bombs. Corvus will take to the air and you will notice its feet begin to glow red. That is your warning. It will then release a barrage of corrosive bombs across the arena. These bombs hurt when they make direct contact, but that's not actually the biggest problem. When the bombs land, they leave behind corrosive puddles. Those puddles deal damage over time if you stand in them. The key here is to focus on avoiding the initial barrage. Don't try to attack Corvus while you're standing underneath the bombs. Move away from the impact zones and then immediately look at the ground around you. If corrosive puddles begin covering your current position, use the nearby grapple points to escape to a safer part of the arena. The biggest mistake you can make here is getting greedy. Corvus isn't going anywhere. Avoid the bombs, reposition, and wait for your opportunity to attack. Next up, we have the Peck Dive. Corvus will fly into the air and then dive directly toward Emma with its beak. This attack is pretty straightforward. When Corvus takes off and lines itself up with you, be ready to dodge. you can simply dodge out of the way or use one of the grapple points to quickly move away from the attack. The important thing is not to panic. Corvus has to commit to the dive, so once you recognize the animation, simply move out of its path. During the second encounter, this attack becomes more dangerous during the final phase because Corvus can temporarily imbue it with Blight. That version hits harder, but the fundamental counter doesn't change. Just get out of the way. Now we get to what I think is the most important attack in the entire fight, the Claw Stab. Corvus will raise its feet before stabbing toward Emma. It typically performs this attack 3 times in succession, and this is your best opportunity to parry. Watch the timing of each of the stabs and practice your parries rather than just dodging away. If you can consistently parry these attacks, you're not just avoiding damage, you are also restoring FP for coup. And that means more opportunities to use your Bloom Arts. And really the only complication is the terrain. Depending on whether you are standing, the arena geometry can occasionally make the timing or the positioning a little awkward, but if that happens, don't force it. It's better to dodge safely than take unnecessary damage trying to land a parry. But whenever the positioning is good, take advantage of this move. Parry the 3-hit sequence, recover your FP, and then punish the boss with your shock attacks. During the second Corvus encounter, you will also have to deal with flying summons. Corvus can summon smaller Corvid Malefacts to fight alongside it, and these enemies aren't particularly dangerous on their own, but they can become annoying if you allow them to remain in the arena. My recommendation is to deal with them quickly using your bow and arrows. Don't waste a bunch of your stronger resources on them. Simply switch to your ranged weapon, take them out, and then immediately return your attention to the boss. The reason you want to eliminate them quickly is that the longer that they remain alive, the more distractions that you will have to deal with while you're trying to read the boss's attacks. So just basically keep the arena clean. Now, let's put everything together for the 2 Corvus encounters and the final phase, because while the second fight is more difficult, the overall strategy remains very similar. So, the first Corvus is found on line 0 in the giant tree zone. This encounter only has 1 phase and serves as a good introduction to the boss's moveset. Start by maintaining a safe distance and watching Corvus's movements. When it takes to the air, prepare for either the Corrosive Bombs or the Peg Dive. If Corvus begins dropping its Corrosive Bombs, prioritize positioning over damage. Avoid the initial barrage and watch the ground carefully for the corrosive puddles left behind. If your current area becomes covered in acid, use the grapple points to quickly move somewhere safer. When Corvus returns to the ground and uses the Claw Stab, this is your best opportunity to parry. So try to parry the 3-hit sequence to restore FP and then use that FP to unleash Sakura, Javelin, Bloom Art and take advantage of Corvus's shock weakness. Your full Thunder Sword should also be your main weapon, as well as your lightning bolts and arrows. Once you have defeated the first Corvus, you'll eventually face the second one on line 1. This version is a little bit more challenging because the arena has 3 levels, it has an additional attack mechanic, and essentially you have a second phase with another health bar. So don't let the increased difficulty change the fundamentals of your strategy. Continue exploiting Corvus's shock weakness, use your ranged weapons while it's flying, and look for the Claw Stab whenever you want an opportunity to parry and recover FP. The biggest new mechanic you'll need to manage is the flying summons. So just basically switch to your bow and arrows as soon as you see the summons and take them out. Now, as the fight progresses into the final phase, Corvus can temporarily become imbued with Blight, which enhances some of his attacks. The most notable example is the Peg Dive. The attack itself hasn't fundamentally changed, but it can hit stronger and faster. So the overall rhythm for both encounters is simple. Avoid the Corrosive Bombs, grapple away from dangerous area, parry the 3-hit Claw Stab, use ranged weapons whenever Corvus is flying, and eliminate the summon enemies quickly. So once you've defeated the Corvus encounters, you'll also earn some important rewards. You're going to get a couple of skills for Emma and a couple of blue marks as well from both of the bosses. And then of course, defeating Corvus also unlocks the Corvus End trophy. And that is pretty much everything you need to know to defeat Corvus and Beast of Reincarnation. Remember the key points. Shock is the weakness, Fall Thunder is your best weapon, parry the 3-hit claw stab to restore FP, use Q's blue marks to capitalize on your openings, and most importantly, don't stand in the corrosive puddles. If this guide helps you defeat this boss, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Beast of Reincarnation boss guides, trophy guides, collectibles, and walkthroughs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.